Right, I think everyone is here. Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ideas to Startup Demo Day. I'm Eng Tat, and together with Jason, we are the lecturers for this module and the host for you tonight. Ideas to Startup was conceived in 2018, and we have a first batch of graduates in 2019. Last year, we did a demo day on Zoom, and we are super excited today to welcome you to Demo Day 2021 for the third batch of the students. The Ideas to Startup is a pre-accelerator module for final year undergraduate students. Typically, the students come into the class with some form of idea and or kind of an early prototype that they wish to further develop, right? So in the class, we bring the students through 4 key areas that are important to build successful startups. Students learn to build market by approaching customers in different market segments. They will ascertain the needs and value proposition and size up the B-shaped market they will tackle. Then they went on to build MVP, minimum viable product, to validate with the B-shaped market segment customer. And they went on to learn on business model and to analyze the unit economics. And last but not least, they learn various aspects of company building in terms of investment, valuation, legal, and IP aspect. And we make learning practical for the students by bringing experienced speakers, startup mentors, and investors to the class. Like we brought startup founders, startup investors to kind of guide students along on customer and market discovery. And we guide them along every single steps of the journey. Through product development, we brought in more investors, we brought in more startup founders, and business model, company building, where we bring in real professionals and give them the real feedback and guidance. In this module, every student I expect to achieve 3 things. First, they will engage real pilot customers, and then they will build minimum viable product to validate with this customer, and then they will do an investment pitch at the end of the module at the demo day, which they're going to do it shortly. Right, quick statistics of the module. This year, this cohort, we have 4 teams, and we have invited 17 external mentors and investors to the class. The students have built a total of 13 prototypes and have engaged 84 clients. And they went on to win, they participate and they won 8 competitions, and have also secured 4 grants. That will include external grants as well, offered by Enterprise Singapore Startup Founder Grant. I think the students have done very well. Right, flashback of the program, that's how we started. Day 1, right? I think building team is very important. This is how we get them doing icebreaker orientation, get to know their teammates, get to know the class as well. These are sketches of their teammates and their classmates, right? And then, well, we organize the panel workshops as well. We bring in the startup investors and the mentors here. On the left, we have the investors here giving them feedback during the prototype day, right? On the right here, we have Eugene from Facebook, who is leading the growth team. So we look into metrics, how to grow a startup, how to grow the user engagement. And we are very, very lucky to also have support from our partners. Like in this case, we have 7 lawyers, legal professionals including three partners and one counsel, very senior level lawyers who came down to the class, conduct a workshop for our students, and address the questions and concerns, legal and intellectual property concerns that the team may have. These are very, very specific workshop that the students will prepare a set of questions they have beforehand, and then the lawyers would then go through each and every one of the questions and then engage in a small group setting, right? And in the module itself, students have plenty of opportunity to practice the presentation and demonstration. Right. With that, let me pass the time to Jason, who will introduce the team.
Thank you, Intat. Hi everyone, good evening. Thank you again for joining us for our third edition of Demo Day for EG4301 Ideas to Startup. My name is Jason, and together we are super excited to kick off this evening. Now, we have 4 different teams coming together, or maybe I should call them startups, because they are pretty mature, I would say, and exciting. Many VR, Granted, Lookup, and Concrete AI. So these 4 startups are different in different industries, solving different problems, working with different industry partners and clients. I won't go too much into detail about them because they're pitching in a bit. So really looking forward to their pitches as well as their demos which they have set up over here. But one thing is in common, which is that they have worked super hard in the past year to bring the most innovative solution and compelling ideas to the table. So as with that, we also have an esteemed panel of judges today, 4 judges who have very kindly joined us, veterans in their fields, VCs, people who have built businesses before, sold them, failed them, and being successful again. So I think there are a lot of learning points that we can get from these judges. And without further ado, maybe I'll just introduce the judges one by one and have them introduce yourself and also tell us one thing that you look for in a successful startup. So maybe going from left to right, can we invite Kelvin Ong, founder and CEO of Focus Tech Ventures? Kelvin?
Can you hear me? Yeah. Hi everyone. Thanks for having me here again today. I think it's my 3rd time that I'm involved in this program. So I'm Kelvin. I'm the founder and CEO of Focus Tech Ventures. So we are a private investment company that we used to run our own manufacturing business. And fast forward to today, we actually still invest into tech startups, so mainly seed stage startups. And I'm also a partner in a VC fund called TMB Aura, that we do more investments in Series A companies. At the same time, I also run my own startup, so I can empathize with all the founders. It's a field service management company that I'm running right now. So the one thing that I'm actually looking for in a startup, I think, because early stages is always a lot of pitfalls, as you run your startup. So I think resilience for me is the most important. I think you'll get a lot of rejections, especially early when you're still proving out your product market fit. So I think this is where you need to be thick-skinned enough, go out there and be resilient and be able to take all this criticism and improve your product. I think so. That's one thing that I will advise the founders. Thanks.
Thank you, Kelvin. Yeah, very well said. Resilience, tenacity. I think one thing, never say die, and I think some founders call themselves cockroaches as well, because however you whack it, it will not die. Anyway, enough about dying. Please join me to welcome the second judge, SC, founder, managing director of M Design Solutions. SC, please.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is SC. I'm coming from M Design Solutions. My company do technology translation, basically as a design house. So I've been in the R&D space for about 35 years. So I started as with MNC like Philips for about 15 years. Then I started to join the startup, I think in year 2000. So now it's almost 21 years in the startup space as well. So 50% of my time now is doing teaching, both in NUS, LLP, NTU, as well as SUTD. So that is how I spend my time most of the separation now. What I think what is important for the startup is really the team that is really able to work objectively based on data, as what I've teach in LLP as well. Evidence base is extremely important. There will be a lot of so-called emotion, especially the founding team normally are very passionate, but you need to segregate the emotion and the data. So I think evidence through the interview, through the market validation is very important, because that is the one that will navigate you to find where is really the sweet spot of your offering. Right? Okay.
Thank you, SC. I think it's very important. Market validation, data talks for itself, and something that we have been emphasizing with our class as well. Thank you, SC. And third on the list, we have Jielun Ong, Director of Ventures, Plug and Play APAC.
Hi, thanks for inviting, Ingtat. I was actually also a mechanical engineering student, but I can recognize the building from outside, but when I came in, wow, everything changed. Yeah, so it's been a long time. So thanks for inviting, pleasure to be here. I head the ventures team for Plug and Play across Asia Pacific. So Plug and Play, we're a VC as well as a corporate innovation platform. We invest in early stage startups, check sizes between 100 to 200,000 US dollars. We also work with corporates to sort of provide them with a service of startup sourcing and matching, as well as running of innovation programs. I guess one thing I would say that I look for in startups would be what 80% of investors would say as well. I would say the team, right? So whether the team is has the domain knowledge or expertise in solving the problem that they are solving, as well as the character, as what Kelvin mentioned, the perseverance and the resilience as well. Yeah. So I think for early stage startups, majority of the evaluation is actually on the team itself, right? Thanks.
Thank you, Jielun. Yeah, perfect. And app as well, because I think team is very important for startups of our class, which is probably pre-seed or slightly earlier stage. Thanks for that again. And last but not least, we have Eileen, Regional Director for APAC 500 Startups.
Hi everyone. So I'm Eileen. I head up business development for 500 Startups Global Innovation Team in Asia Pacific. I think a lot of you might know 500 Startups is one of the world's most active early stage investor. We've invested in over 2,500 companies in 77 countries. What we believe in is in uplifting people and economies through entrepreneurship. So apart from investing capital, I work a lot with governments as well as corporates in the region to pursue innovation projects as well as build startup ecosystems. I also run my own education startup where I work with kids as young as 11 to form startups. So really love instilling entrepreneurship, innovation, skill set in young kids, and I think they inspire me more than I inspire them. So one thing that we look at, I think apart from obviously market validation being the most important, I think that goes without saying, what we normally look for as well, again, repeating what the other judges had said, is founder problem fit. So why are you the right founder to solve this problem? What kind of insights, expertise do you have that's really unique to you and makes you one of the best people to solve this problem? Then secondly is also what we call founder runway. So it's not so much of cash runway, but founder runway, which is, do you have the right attitude to pivot, to stay on this journey? Thank you.
Thank you, Eileen. Well, I think once again, I think we are super honored and fortunate to have these four judges, because I think all the advice that you have given kind of summarizes a lot of things that we are trying to do this year. Market validation, data-driven, founder problem fit, which are all aspects that are important to a startup. And thank you again for spending time on a weekday night and navigating the various buildings to come to this auditorium. Thank you so much. And our judges will actually be judging our 4 startups later as well and looking at their MVP. So looking forward to that. And we have also briefed the students that these 4 judges are veterans and will be super sharp with the questions. So they are very well prepared already, hopefully. All right, so what's going to happen next is each startup will come on for a 5-minute pitch, and after which we'll follow with a 5-minute Q&A from the judges. So after 4 startups are all done, we'll then all proceed together to view their demos one by one as well, which are all already set up. And at the end of that, then we'll announce a couple of things as well. So today, we will also have an award called the Most Investable Startup Award. So previously, last 2 years, we have this thing called the Audience Choice Award. But I think that was because we had a much larger audience and it was more meaningful to run a larger audience award back then. But today, the judges will be very important in this. So they'll be ranking the scores and telling us which is the most investable one based on today's pitch and demo. So it might not be the highest score amongst all, but it's the most investable in your opinion. All right, so looking forward to that as well. And that's all I have actually. Does anyone have questions? No? All right, in that case, without further ado, please join me to welcome the very first startup on board, Team MediVR.